Hello, everybody, and welcome back to M&J Games. I'm Michael, and welcome to episode 10 of Valley America. Now, there are a couple things that are really going to change in this episode, especially in the skyline, as we already have three, well, I guess four if you count that wing coaster, kind of big kind of parts of the skyline to look at. But now we have ourselves an Intamin wing coaster, and I've created the layout. I might make some adjustments or tweaks to it, but I wanted something that's going to just be just absolutely stunning or imposing as you look at the park. And so you kind of see that in between the wing coaster, which I think it looks really good. I'm still kind of working on the colors because I want to make sure that it pops. And so as we head in, so got a lot of initial inspiration for this from I-305. And so it's not the same height, but it's going to have a lot of those components to it. I did turn the friction down a little bit or actually I turned it up a little bit to have it go run a little bit slower throughout the layout. But as you can see, the supports aren't on yet, but you've got the initial drop. So when you come in from this way, you just see that first drop, and I think that is just awesome. And I haven't really looked from all over, but I'm trying to kind of get, oh, that's an even cooler view. Wow. Trying to get views from guest perspective from all over the park just to kind of make sure that it all looks good. Oh, yeah. So when you're heading this way, you get that view of that lift. So I think that looks really good as well. And the reason why I chose this one is because I love the lift structure. I think this is the best lift structure in the game that comes with the individual coaster pieces. I also like that lift structure, not lift structure, but on that top hat that comes with that Zenith launch coaster. So we got one more place to look. Let's go. Da-da-da-da-da. If we head back this way, which I do like this fencing here, and you look at it that way, yeah. So I feel like all the views of this are pretty good. I just got to figure out how I want where I want the station and pathing and so forth, because as you can kind of see, it kind of intertwines a little bit here. And so my initial thought was to have transfer track out this way, and I'm going to erase this, get rid of this pathing, and just turn it into straight, whatever you call it, the tarmac terrain. So I'd have the transfer track somewhere on here, so I might have to adjust this just a tad bit to kind of make that work, but I wanted to keep it pretty narrow, and so we'll see if this is able to kind of work out this way. Let me see if I can, since it's not actually straight, let's see. Well, the reason I had it kind of curved just a little bit was is I wanted that I-305 style turnaround I wanted the path to be able to get close to that. So I might have another path section going this way so that you can actually walk right by it and so forth. Yeah, this looks really, I'm happy with this. Like I said, I might have to make a couple adjustments when we see how the supports are and how I'm going to end up doing the pathing. Like I'll probably end up having the exit come out this way. And I thought about having a main path go through this way here to connect to the other side. And then we'll have kind of like the coaster plaza right here or something. So that's kind of the initial idea. So we'll see how that goes. Because I didn't want to have the main entrance off the midway, because you don't really see that. I mean, you see it for Raptor, but that's also at the beginning of the midway. And I wanted to have another path come through, because I wanted it to make sense that to get to this side, there's another route you could take from this place instead of having to walk all the way back up here, which I know is not perfect or ideal, but definitely happy with that. Now, there's one other thing that I'm going to show you, and this is I found this on the workshop, and I've actually got the picture of it now, so I can state who made this. Sorry, I'm pulling this up real quick on my phone. So it is made by AJ Adams 97. I'll put the link in the description below if I can still find it. But since this is a Cedar Fair park, we are going to put the King's Dominion, King's Island observation tower in. And we're going to put it right here. And then I'll kind of work with the terrain and the pathing and stuff like that. So now you've got another really good sight line. And there might be one more sight line at the back. But I know we're at 85%, so we're starting to get there. But believe me, I've got an idea for how this is going to work. So my thought was kind of having the pathing almost make like a. Actually, you know what? Let's see how this would work. Oops, hold on. Yeah, so it'd be something like this. There we go. So it'll have to be something like that. And this part, this whole thing can be shifted over just a tad bit if need be. Yeah, so I'm just trying to. Some of it might end up being partially, so I might have to work with it a little bit. But now around here is going to be like the main entryway to Gatekeeper. We'll probably have another flyby over here. There's going to be another coaster in this section. And then we'll kind of have space over here. So basically, it's going to be a tight fit getting everything in this park. But I think I'll be able to work it out. But as you can see now, this is where you would have that tower. And another thing that I love about this, the creator who made this did a great job lighting it up. Let's look how it looks at night. Like, it really stands out and really looks like a focal point of the park. And like I said, the reason I'm putting this in the park is because it is a Cedar Fair style park, and I figured it works well on this side. And it takes up a good amount of space for it only being about 2% towards the counter. So that part I am happy with. So I'm going to go ahead and continue building and checking out how these supports look, and I will talk to you guys at the next update. All right, so we are here at the end of the episode, and in terms of a building standpoint, nothing's really new as we still have the Intamin coaster there in the background and the Eiffel Tower from King's Dominion and King's Island. But I needed a lot of lighting done, and I'm not great with lighting, so I asked Tall Guy Gaming if he would want to step in and do some lighting for the park. So thank you for doing this, man. Thanks for joining me for the end of this episode.
Yeah, thanks for having me do tedious work you didn't want to do.
Well, you always do such a good job kind of with lighting and stuff, but I think I maybe kind of handcuffed you a little bit when I said don't use too much of the piece counter.
Yeah, pretty much. You're like, yeah, don't use any of the piece counter. So none of the custom lights that I normally make had to get in here. So I just used the game ones.
Yeah, well, you did a great job. Like, I love this lighting, like where the keyholes are for that wing coaster. Like, I think that looks so good. So you did a great job with that. And then I also like how you kind of lit up. I mean, all you did was put a sign behind the lockers there, but I think it just kind of adds a lot to it because it kind of brightens it a little bit.
Yeah, like it had this whole area was like a little blue over there with the Dippin' Dots place, and then the lockers are blue and the ride, and I just wanted to like bring that in. And to be honest with you, like I didn't want to keep like doing like rinse and repeat with lights, so I figured the sign behind that's lit makes the lockers look a lot more interesting.
Yeah, and I like just the simple technique here of just rotating this 90 degrees Because I mean, only using those two light poles there, but that's, I mean, you see that in parks, and it looks good and gives off enough light. And of course, you do a ton of Easter eggs. So when I remember, or when I was thinking of like looking at stuff to do in this park, and I saw somebody make like a custom Dippin' Dots on PC, I was like, oh, Dippin' Dots, there we go. So
Yeah, it seems like everyone's doing that before me. I haven't done that yet, so I'll have to get to that eventually.
yeah, and yours will be like 50 times better than mine. But hey, it gets the job done. So but yeah, basically just went through and kind of lit up this area, and I mean it looks great because one thing I noticed. I mean, I wonder if this is true, kind of, because I know you really like Busch Gardens and stuff, and it's been years since I've been there. But one thing I noticed this summer going to like Kings Island and Cedar Point and stuff is like they're not. It's not that lit up, you know.
No, yeah,
Like,
there are parts of Busch Gardens that are like completely dark, like the behind of Ireland. It's like completely pitch black. It's so hard to see back there.
yeah, and so to me, I was like, I think this is perfect because I think sometimes we all have a tendency of doing too much with lights. Um, but to keep that realistic sense, like you did a perfect job placing them. So I think it looks great. So I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, I think one thing a lot of people struggle with when they do the lights too is if you actually click on one of the actual lights, the instead of it being like a white color, I think I picked like a gray. If you actually go to the colors,
Yeah.
yeah, you could see the last one is gray. I believe these lights are like a bright yellow or something. But a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people struggle by making these overly bright and like then it just looks like not realistic at all. So I always tell people to like tone the lights down. You know, the grays work really good. Even like regular colors, I tone all my colors down. I
Yeah.
never use pure black and pure white. Those are two colors that honestly really don't exist in the real world. So I wouldn't even use either one of them.
Well, and another one that's a good point. Another one that I mean, I know you do this too, which I did a terrible job moving that camera. Is let me see if I could get to the lights real quick. So you know these area lights, these ones right here, right? I think sometimes we get in
Yeah.
the habit of if you're using this as like recessed lighting or something, um, you know, just kind of keeping it like this, but then they get really, really bright. So kind of like you
Yeah.
said, I mean, so if you're doing that, like that's super bright, right? But if you
Yeah,
just,
I actually use those underneath your the entranceway actually, but they're actually the same thing. They're like grayed out. So like where
yeah,
your boots are right behind there, there's the spotlights are under there.
right.
But it's
You're
not
talking about,
super bright.
yeah, and this is perfect, right? So you did that, and
Yep.
so let's see if we can see, just so people can see what you're talking about. Yeah, so I mean, look at the
Yep,
tone that
gray.
you used compared to using the overall white, and just you can just see the difference of how that makes. And
Yeah.
so obviously that's too bright. Um, but yeah, I think you did a great job, so I appreciate it. Hold on, is this one of the things that?
That might be one of them. You might have to turn the lights on for that. I left you a
Yeah,
bunch of surprises.
yeah, so that's it's not a Dippin' Dods park if there's not a ton of craziness and Easter eggs in there, and then it's not me looking at one of your parks if I can't find any of them basically. So, um, and just so y'all know, before we started this, I was literally looking in this area for like 5 minutes and couldn't find anything, and then all of a sudden I saw, oh, Tall Guy Gaming's car has shown up, and he's just made himself at home and
Pretty
decided
much.
to decided to park and knock over these cones. So, and then let's see, let me guess. This probably says something like not the best, but oh yeah, the worst. Okay.
It's home of the worst coasters. You passed that 7 times. I'm surprised you didn't see that. It's the way it lights up too. I was like, how is he not seeing this?
Yeah, I think I saw it finally at the night because I noticed that you couldn't see that, but I think before I just wasn't paying attention to that sign.
There's one on the buses. If you go look at the bus fronts, there's
Okay.
something on one of the bus fronts.
Carlos Gardens. Oh, I like that. I
That
like
one's
that.
going to my park.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I like the idea of all of our parks are in the same universe. So,
Yeah,
kind of like apparently how every single Marvel character is in the same universe, and so now we can just say all our theme parks are in the same universe.
exactly.
And then I know in here,
Eh,
talking about he needs
I mean,
subs.
I mean, he did park, so he has to sit somewhere. So he's just hanging out in here after he finished work.
Yeah, I kind of wish I'd made this into like an actual security office now, or you got like a little miniature holding cell or something, and I'd put your character in the
Honestly,
holding cell.
I was gonna make like a control center for him and everything, but again, you with your piece count, I was like, no, what? Don't ruin anything for him. Just leave it alone.
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to because I'm at like 87% with at this point, and so trying to make sure that I can fill up that back portion of the park.
If
But
you go
yeah,
to the back portion of the park, there's stuff back there
there is. Oh, one other thing to
behind
point
you.
out is you said your wife wanted to be in the park, right?
Yep. So
So
there she is.
so
She's in all my
CJ,
parks. So
yeah. So she's serving some ice cream. So we appreciate your wife. I appreciate your wife working and helping make Valley America the best park in the Cedar Fair chain.
hey,
So
we need multiple paychecks. This YouTube thing isn't paying off for me yet. So
that's why you need more subs, right?
yeah, if you take the sky ride all the way to the back and just keep going to your backstage, you might see something.
Okay.
Look straight down.
Oh, I see Jasmine's truck.
Yep, that's one. If follow that path, the where Jasmine's truck is.
Okay. So we got Jasmine's Landscaping Company, and then we got For Sure on the back, of course. Um,
Not that. I didn't
uh,
do that. Keep going. Keep going.
oh, and then you've got there we go, Michael's Coaster Creation. Awesome. Miss try. Whoop. Is there anything else I'm missing, or
There's one more over by the wing coaster.
okay? Zoom over
Oh
this
wait,
way.
not the wing coaster, the drop coaster. I forgot what it's called. The coaster that's like
Dive
Griffin.
coaster. Yeah.
Dive coaster. So if you go all the way in the back, probably nope, over to the left. Keep going. Keep going around the photos. Turn to the right. Go back there again.
Okay, go back here again. Okay. Oh, we got. Is this the guy back here?
It's Sneaky Pete. He's in all my parks too. He didn't have any security back there, so that's I was like, he's gonna hang out back here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate the work. And what are your thoughts so far on? I mean, you've seen my other parks too on how this has kind of turned out so far. Since you kind of get an exclusive look around that not many people have gotten. So,
Yeah, no, this is definitely hands down your best park so far. These are the best buildings you've ever made. I've been telling you for a while that you had to get a little bit better with the buildings. I mean, the coasters you do are incredible, but now you're doing better. Buildings are way better. I love how you have the two entrances coming from the subway and the little picnic area to the side. That was really cool. So I mean,
yeah.
this is hands down going to be probably your best park I've ever seen you make.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, I think I'm really. At first, I was kind of worried about the fact that I didn't really have any elevation change, but I think I can get away with that for the fact that I'm modeling it after like for instance, this way right here is kind of modeled after Cedar Point, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got like this building right here is basically a replica from Cedar Point. Like this one's like the Coney Island barbecue building at Kings Island, and I mean most Cedar Fair parks don't have hills. Like
Yeah,
they're
I
pretty
mean, to be
flat
honest,
parks, so
you mainly make like amusement park styles like this, and being flat, it doesn't really take away from it. Where
yeah.
I build more like theme parks, Disney, Busch Gardens kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
I'm
for
constantly
sure.
trying to change the elevations to get different sight lines and stuff like that. Where these, most of these are like, how many coasters we can fit in, and how great can these coasters be, and that's like right up your alley. So I mean, you
Yeah.
do awesome job at all this. I mean, I love this front with the whole second security, like the bag check thing. That was really cool.
Yeah, I saw somebody on PC do this. I'm trying to remember exactly who it was, and I was like, "Oh, that's perfect." Because, I mean, when you go to theme parks, there's not a way to get to the main entrance without going through some kind of bag or security check.
Yeah.
So I like how it turned out. But yeah, my next park, I definitely want to do it a little bit differently, where it kind of take inspiration from like Dollywood, Silver Dollar City type, where it's kind of like a family-owned park in a small town that kind of grows over time. Um, So kind of more along that style compared to just amusement park and everything's coasters, right?
Are you going to be okay not building a record-breaking coaster in this park? I'm feeling it's going to
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
No, it's a family fun park. It's awesome. By the way, we have the biggest whatever coaster ever. You've seen like,
Well, what would be fun though is because my thought is kind of like almost having it be one of those that's like through time, if that makes sense. Like it's maybe the 1970s when the park's being discovered or opening for the first time, and so like the first coasters that are built kind of represent the times, and then maybe coming back at some point and being like, because I know somebody gave me this idea too of like RMC coming in and saying, hey. If you buy our T-Rex model, we will give you a discount on RMC in one of your coasters or something like that, right? So then taking one of the
yeah,
old wooden coasters and giving it the RMC treatment, something like that. So that'd be kind of something different, kind of add a little
it's
little
it's
little story to it.
it's funny you said that because I had almost that exact idea, but with a challenge park. So I was going to start a challenge park, but I could only get rides and stuff that are from like the 70s and 80s and stuff, and then as the park progresses it goes to the 90s and 2000s. So I was
Yeah.
gonna do almost the same idea, so now it's a race who does it first.
Yeah. Now one thing real quick, I don't know why my eyes were just drawn to this, but I just think with all the trees and all the foliage in here now, like kind of looking up that pathway looks really cool. How you've got the coaster in the back, but it's kind of, you got the trees on the side kind of hiding views and stuff. And then the chairlift and obviously that wing coaster now. So happy with how
Yeah,
it's all
no,
turned
even
out.
with with no terrain, different levels of terrain that you didn't do, you still did like an amazing job with sight lines, so that was pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah, that's one thing I was trying to keep in mind was not going absolutely insane with it, but also having your amusement park sidelines that you have and stuff like that. Because even the smaller Cedar Fair parks have these power tower type rides.
Yeah.
Like Valley Fair has one and stuff like that. So really happy with how it's turned out.
All right,
Yeah,
I know
man.
you're not done. I know you're not done, and I know that's probably the border back there. One question: you doing a wooden roller coaster?
Yeah, so I'm trying to come up with that'll probably be I don't know if it'll be the next episode or the one after that, but there's definitely going to be either a true wooden coaster back here or a topper track RMC. But I haven't really done a. I usually go with an RMC, so I might try to do a wooden coaster, but I've just got to
I
make
was
it
gonna
fit
say
well
that.
within the area. So like
Yeah,
a
I think I want to
GCI
see
or
you do a
something.
wooden one. Yeah, yeah. Like
Okay.
I know you do the RMC. I want to see you do just a wooden one, just a
Like,
regular, not even a family one, just like your family one, the Little Dipper you had in the other park.
mm-hmm.
That was great. Like I want you to do like a bigger version of that.
Bigger version, yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. So I'll definitely look at that. And I've thought about doing a small family coaster in this spot and basically having kind of this area be like a little family section. But we'll see. I mean, that's not a ton of space, so I don't need to try to be trying to fit too many coasters, right?
Nah,
um,
I
yeah,
I don't think I've ever made a family area before. I just don't care. I
yeah,
just sneak in some like family rides around everything else and call it a day.
yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate the idea. So now that you say you want to see me do a wooden coaster, I'll definitely do a wooden coaster there. But yeah, so once again, man, thanks for joining me for the end of this, and everybody make sure to go check out his channels. The link's in the description below. Tall Guy Gaming. So thank you, Harry.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, talk to you guys later.